Yeah, enough of that intro shit. You've heard us before. Speez and the Benchmark Show. Speez trying to unfuck everything and get shit to work like it's supposed to. Sorry for all the shenanigans, everybody.
Shenanigans.
What a fucking nightmare that was. But thank you guys for joining us, those of you who are with us still, and put up with all of that bullshit. What a mess, dude.
Yeah.
Especially when shit works and then it doesn't work. And then you got to figure out why it doesn't work and all that other kind of bullshit. What's up, Juanito? Good to see Juanito. He's one of the Dr. Hugenstein fans that joins us here. So glad to have you with us, brother. And glad to have you folks on the YouTube with us. Glad to have you folks who are listening to the podcast and wondering what the hell we're complaining about. Tried to do the live show here tonight and on a Thursday night. And, just had a lot of shit going on. So it was rather obnoxious. But here we are. We're going now. We're good to go. And thank you, everybody, for your patience in getting with us. So, as we were saying before, we got some free shit to give away.
Free shit.
So, here it is again for those of you who are watching on the YouTubes. We got 8x10s autographed, Minoru Suzuki, Sami Callihan, because we're talking heels today on the program.
It's a heel-heavy program.
So, we wanted to give away some of the free shit from the stash that we have. So, this is what we're going to do. I'm going to make sure that this is actually there because it's on our Twitter, so we want to make sure that folks are following us on Twitter.
Follow.
At Speez Benchmark, so make sure that you follow us there. And here's all you got to do, folks. There is a tweet that I am sending out right now, and it's actually going to be our pinned tweet, so I'm going to make sure to pin it to our page there. So go to at Speez Benchmark, and the pinned tweet that is there about retweeting and following Speez and the Benchmark.
Yeah.
All you got to do is retweet and follow Speez and the Benchmark. And you are entered to win the autographed 8x10s of Minoru Suzuki and Sami Callihan at Speez Benchmark on Twitter. Retweet that tweet and follow us there. And we got another special thing for everybody. If you come to our YouTube channel at tinyurl.com/SpeezBenchmark, then you will get an additional entry into the drawing to win the autographed 8x10s.
Subscribe.
So subscribe to the YouTube channel as well. If you don't have a Twitter account, then just head on over to the YouTubes.
Yep.
tinyurl.com/SpeezBenchmark. Hit that subscribe button. And if you don't have a YouTube account, then shit, man. What are you doing? It's 2018. You got to get your shit together. Silky, I'm a little flustered. I'm not going to lie, man.
Yeah, I can tell.
It was kind of a troublesome start to the evening. It's very obnoxious when shit like that happens.
But we're back and we're ready to go.
We are back and we're ready to go. Hey, comment on your favorite heel. That's Benchmark Silky.
That's me right there.
I wonder why you were so quiet. It's because you were adding comments to the stream there. So we are talking the best heels in wrestling today. Again, we talked about Tommaso Ciampa winning the NXT Championship off of Aleister Black. Now, you finally watched the match.
I did finally watch the match before I came over.
So what did you think of the match?
I thought the match was great. I mean, that ref bump was fucking ridiculous.
Wasn't it? That was crazy.
Yeah, and then only thing, and we talked about this off air, but the finish they had was a little clunky to me, and you get that whenever you have the whole tugging at an object and you let go and you hit someone else.
Yeah.
It always looks like you made yourself do it. I think it would have been, to me, I would have had him, grab the belt to hit Ciampa. Ciampa ducks, he hits Black, then let Ciampa drop him with something more than just throwing him out, and then pin.
What's up, Mr. Warren Hayes? Glad to have you with us as well. Yeah, it was kind of an awkward finish.
But the match was awesome.
I enjoyed the match. Again, I'm kind of an old school guy in that when guys get hit with just absurd amounts of offense, you would think at some point that they would get pinned. And Black was absolutely fucking annihilating Ciampa for a good...
Those kicks were fucking brutal.
Well, and he ate so many huge moves, and he just wouldn't stay down. Ciampa wouldn't stay down. It's one of the things that I find to be kind of obnoxious about modern wrestling, and I'm kind of in the minority on this, so that's okay. But at some point, shit's got to end up in a pinfall. You can't just have one fucking false finish after another. It's the recipe for modern matches. It's let these guys go for about 10, 15 minutes and then start just overloading fucking crazy spots that nobody should ever kick out of, but let them kick out of it and cue the "This is awesome" chant, and then we got ourselves a great match. That's the recipe of shit nowadays.
Well, I mean, I don't think the offense he hit him with was particularly crazy. I mean, he was just hitting him with a lot of forceful shots.
It just looked to me like Ciampa was getting his ass absolutely handed to him, and then he started.
At the same time, I think Ciampa hit Black with more actual big moves that Black kicked out of than the other way around.
Maybe I got to go back and watch it again because I'm sitting there watching it, and Ciampa's just kicking out and kicking out and kicking out, and I'm going, what the fuck, man? Like, when is it? When is this actually going to end? So, but it was a good. Hey, look, I'm not going to complain with the NXT belt being on Tommaso Ciampa. That's not a bad thing at all, and it opens up some interesting shit for him and Gargano eventually.
Yeah,
because you got to know that's going to come back through.
I mean, I love the match. And you guys know that I'm not a big fan of paying off for giving away something on free TV that you can give away at the pay-per-views.
Yes.
So I think this should have been a takeover match, but other than that, I think everything else about it was great.
What's up, Mimi? Glad to have you with us. Good to see those Periscope numbers going up. You guys feel free to chime in. We're talking the top heels in wrestling today. So Silky and I are going to give you our top 5 list, but we also put the word out on the Twitters earlier to see what was happening with those folks. And once again, Silky Baines, Chris Pizak.
Yeah,
just so you guys know the kind of shit that we go through when it rains, it pours. You know, we've just had all this trouble with, the feed not working properly and shit not, doing what we want it to do. There's a little message that you can't see up in the corner of my screen that says mouse battery empty. So now my fucking mouse is dead too.
Awesome.
As if shit wasn't going wrong enough. So just in case you missed it, here are those autographed pictures one more time. Sami Callihan, Minoru Suzuki. We got that there. So let's go to some of the tweets that we got about the top 5 heels in wrestling today. Here's what folks had to say. This is Abrahadabra, the at Age of Alistair, I should say. He's got Tama Tonga at number 1, Ciampa at number 2, Sami Callihan, Samoa Joe, and Adam Cole.
And I'm going to tell you why I think that list is not great.
Okay, we're going to come back to that in just a minute because we're going to work our way down here because, with my mouse being off, I can't just jump back to us. I got to go in numerical order here. So we'll come back to Abrahadabra here in just a minute. We have also got Mags and Bags, our buddy, in no particular order, Ciampa, Gibson, Murder Grandpa, Switchblade, and The Miz. Murder Grandpa being Minoru Suzuki, for those of you that don't know, who I didn't know. But it's absolutely, fucking perfect nickname. Yeah, how did I not know that he's not called Murder Grandpa?
I mean, yeah, he's
one of those things that
murderous grandpa. And I'm assuming that's Zach Gibson.
You guys been disconnecting, Juanito says. Are we still disconnecting, Juanito, or is the shit finally straightening itself out? Because we've been trying to get it fixed there. I know it was disconnecting earlier, but hopefully it's working now. Moving right along to Tim Flaherty. Okay, seriously. Ciampa, Callihan, Cody, Miz, and Joe. He says seriously because I said, who are the top 5 heels in wrestling? And he goes, yeah, I don't watch Total Divas, so I don't really know what heels in WWE are.
I got that. That was funny.
So then he came back with this serious. Ciampa, Callihan, Cody. First time we've seen his name, Miz, and Joe. And Rebecca Smith, at Rebecca C. Smith 77. I like hers because she actually explained her picks. I think Corbin has potential to be right up there. Heel Randy Orton is classic. Shinsuke makes a good heel. Alexa Bliss. And The Miz has got awesome mic skills.
No, you got to do it like Miz. Awesome!
Sorry. He's got awesome mic skills. So there's some of the Twitter folks that we heard from. Any particular... I'll tell you one. I'm going to let you get your take out on Adam Cole because I have something to say about Adam Cole being on a list as well. But go ahead and get your 2 cents in before I jump in.
I wouldn't put Adam Cole on that list. Same reason I wouldn't put Tama Tonga on that list is, yes, they are technically heels. But they're also insanely over with the fans. And they have that quality that makes you like them. Like when I think of top heels, I think of guys that I just can't stand when I watch them. Like
it's kind of the definition of being a heel.
Yeah. It's not just because you do cool or bad things. It's like Adam Cole, the Undisputed Era. They all do bad things.
That door you hear, as if the night has not been fucked enough. Here comes my dog Bailey.
Bailey.
She's the best. She's awesome.
But
my black lab Bailey joining us here on the Pro Wrestling Recap. So, yeah, like Warren's saying, Jay White, because his heel game's been on the race. Jay White's outstanding, and we're going to hear from him, or we're going to see him, I should say, on our lists here shortly.
So that's why I wouldn't put them. Though it's like you watch them, and though I know you're supposed to hate them, they're just, for lack of a better way to put it, they're just really fucking cool.
And that's, Don Callis spoke out about that, and he said the cool heel thing needs to go away.
It does.
Because what it does, and you can speak to this, and this is one of the reasons I wanted to have a professional wrestler as my co-host, so that somebody who actually works in the business can give us some thoughts here. It makes your job as a face that much more difficult when people are fucking cheering the heel.
That is correct.
And everything that Adam Cole does, he does some shit that's heel shit, but let's face it, Adam Cole wants to be over with the fans.
Yeah.
If he didn't want to be over with the fans, he wouldn't do half the shit that he does.
That is true.
And so, by very definition, he's not a fucking heel. He's just not. He's and look, I don't fault him. I enjoy Adam Cole. I enjoy the shit out of Adam Cole.
Adam Cole is the shit.
But if I'm making a list of heels, I'm not putting fucking Adam Cole on there.
Yeah, because, I mean, they have that, and I said this, if you watch me go live on my Periscope, my personal Periscope channel, while we were trying to get things fixed, I said he has that same quality that Negan has if you watch The Walking Dead. Negan does horrible things in the show, but he's just so fucking cool that you're like, I'm supposed to hate you, but I don't.
Yeah, exactly. It's a weird dynamic.
Yeah.
And like I said, it's a weird dynamic because that's how he makes it. Because another guy that I didn't put on my top 5 list, although I really, really love his heel work, is Kevin Owens.
And I wouldn't put him on mine just because of the fact that, like, if you were talking Kevin Owens, like, before the Universal title was in play, like, just getting to that point to get a Universal title match, yes, he should be on the list. He's definitely
on the list.
But,
like, straight up from NXT, feuding with John Cena,
that
total fucking badass Kevin Owens is awesome.
I totally agree. Right now is, while he's very entertaining and whatnot, and it's just, he's not really heel because he's funny, It's almost like a comedy act, and I don't think he should be that. I like kind of what they're doing. It seems like now they're going to push him, like that getting thrown off the cell was like the straw that broke the camel's back. So
yeah,
they're going to end up, I think he's going to get more serious.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope so, because I missed that Kevin Owens.
Yeah, that Kevin Owens.
That Kevin Owens was badass, and I want that Kevin Owens back because he's absolutely awesome. So, any other guys that you saw on the list there that stuck out to you as not particularly good? I'm interested in Jennifer's take on Baron Corbin.
Baron Corbin?
Where you see, because she said
Corbin,
he could be one of those guys.
Fuck no. If they had not settled on with that fucking Constable Corbin bullshit, then yeah, I could say he's getting up there. He knows how to elicit good heat. You were there with me when we were in Houston, and he cost the dude Kurt Hawkins a match.
Yes, and we could have all gotten free tacos.
Free fucking tacos. And how can you not hate a motherfucker
that cost you free tacos?
Free tacos.
So not only did he cost us free tacos, then he went on Twitter and talked shit about the city of Houston and said, you bunch of fucking freeloaders don't deserve free tacos, so fuck you guys, I'm glad I cost you free tacos.
Yeah, so
that's some great heel shit.
That's great heel instincts. But now this whole Constable, this like a regurgitation of Corporate Kane, and Corporate Kane didn't really work to begin with, so I don't know why you'd want to throw that back up. So that's where I'm going. That's my stance on Baron Corbin, is phenomenal talent, and if they give him the chance to be a serious heel, he could be a top heel. But right now it's Constable Corbin, which sounds fucking stupid.
That, and he wrestles in a fucking vest.
Yes.
Can we get him some wrestling trunks?
Something.
Like, I didn't mind the old biker dude get up. At least that looked somewhat presentable in the ring. But this wrestling in the fucking slacks and a fucking vest is dumb. You're good on YouTube, says Juanito. That's good to hear, man. Hopefully the Periscope folks aren't getting a bunch of dropouts and shit. Not sure why that's going down, but hey, hopefully it's going okay. All right, so let's get to our list. We asked for the folks on YouTube, or excuse me, on Twitter to give us their top 5 heels. And so Silky and I gave our top 5 as well. So we're going to release them one at a time here. First up, in the number 5 position, I had Sami Callihan. And Silky had Switchblade Jay White. I'm going to let you talk about your guy first. Convince me why Switchblade belongs on the list of the top 5 heels in wrestling today.
Fucking phenomenal as a heel. Like, his instincts, like, if you watch the G1 special, when he threw suplexed Juice Robinson into the rail.
Which was a fucking stupid move.
No.
I know we went back and
Black
forth on this
instincts,
before.
man. We told you.
Yeah.
Anyway, like, when Josh Barnett got up, his heel timing was perfect. Get back in the ring. And then once Josh Barnett was going to get back in the ring, get out the ring. He doesn't have to prove nothing. He knew his fight wasn't with Josh Barnett. His fight was with Juice Robinson. So he had nothing to prove to fight him. But so he still gets to be that chicken shit heel to the fans that, like, was running from a fight. But in his mind, he's totally justified because his fight wasn't with Josh Barnett. And it was just perfect.
It was a great, hey, look.
And
it was a great move, and it got him a shit ton of heat, too.
Yes, it got him a shit ton of heat. And then...
Dr. Huge in the house. Sorry. He always puts, when he comes in, full Andrew Dice Clay style, which I like.
Also, like, his work when getting the match with Kenny before he won the U.S. title. The whole, like, accepting the Bullet Club and then turning on him, and then weeks later or days later joining Chaos just because he knew he couldn't fight them alone. Like, beautiful. That's all beautiful work.
This is true. Hey, listen, I'm not going to complain about Switchblade Jay White being in there. I didn't have him in my top 5, but he was definitely in the conversation because I like him a lot. Hopefully when you see my other top 5 guys, you'll see why I picked who I did. Again, going back, I had Sami Callihan at number 5. Now, you and I both agreed the bat spot with Sami Callihan where he bashed Eddie Edwards in the face was fucking stupid.
Yeah,
and it never should have happened.
It should not have happened.
And it was a dumb thing to do because there's no fucking benefit to doing that.
Nope.
It was just idiotic. But here's the reason I give Sami Callihan credit for that. Because he never fucking broke kayfabe on social media. And he basically said,
I'm glad I did it and I'd do it again.
That goddamn right. And that's exactly what you should do. When you fuck something up like that, I have no doubt whatsoever that Sami Callihan probably went and made his peace with Eddie Edwards, and they took care of it behind the scenes, out of the public eye, as they should. And everybody calling for a public apology from Sami Callihan is fucking stupid, because you shouldn't do that in wrestling. You absolutely don't do that in wrestling. You do exactly what Sami Callihan did. You say, fucking A right, I hit him in the face. He's lucky I only hit him once, and if given the opportunity, I would definitely do the shit again. And that's great. I love that. Now, I'm not a super huge fan of him, and I'm not a super huge fan of that spot, obviously. I thought it was fucking stupid. But
and
the way he handled that situation and the way he's parlayed that into not only a prime spot on Impact now, he's also on the Jericho Cruise, and he's got himself a nice match coming up on the Jericho Cruise, which, of course, I forget who the fuck he's fighting. I want to say it was Marty Scurll, which is great. But, and that's another guy that didn't make my top 5 list, Marty Scurll. Because if you're going to be a fucking villain, you don't sing Britney Spears songs after the show.
Oh, my God.
That's all there is to it. Plain and simple. No fucking Marty Scurll on my list. And no Matt Jackson or Nick Jackson because he fucking blocked me on Twitter, and I have no idea why. So, Nick, I know you're watching again. You always tune in for Speez and the Benchmark. Let's work it out, buddy. There's no reason we can't work it out.
Yeah. Anyway, now that we're done with delusional, reason I didn't put Callihan on my list is because it feels like after that, everything felt forced. Like, I listened to the Busted Open radio.
Busted Open, yeah.
And heard the interaction with him and Bully Ray, and that shit just reeked of just stage heat.
It did a little bit.
Canned, manufactured heat. And that kind of took it away. It's like, then I started thinking of how much of this other stuff he's doing is canned, manufactured heat and not legitimate heat. So that's why he didn't make my list.
And that's fair. That's fair. I mean, I again,
not
I
taking
appreciate
anything away from his talent and him being a heel, because he is one of the true actual heels.
Yeah, that's my thing. I'm not a big fan of his, to be honest with you, but I am a fan of the way that he handled a situation that could have been, and by all means probably should have been, really shitty for him. Mm-hmm. And he really made the most out of it. So I got to take my hat off to the guy for that. All right, so number 5 on our list, Callihan for me, Switchblade for Silky. On to number 4. Silky has got the newly turned Viper, Randy Orton, and I have Minoru Suzuki. Silky, talk to me about Randy Orton and why he ended up number 4 on your list.
Do I have to really explain why? I mean, it's Randy fucking Orton. It really, I mean, just the stuff, his timing as a heel, the stuff he does is just classic. Like, fish hooking Jeff Hardy's gauge holes in his ear. Who does that? You know who does that? Fucking Randy Orton does that.
Motherfuckers do that. That's who.
Or, let's take it back further. Fucking DDT and Stephanie McMahon while Triple H is handcuffed and then kissing her right in front of Triple H.
Which was great.
Yes. And taunting him with, you can't do nothing about it.
Right. Sorry, trying to get some shit done here. Clicking things around and such and making a fucking mockery of the show.
I mean, as a heel, Randy Orton... And let's talk about one of my favorite moments was the Breaking Point pay-per-view I Quit match with John Cena, where it starts like he's just cold and calculating in the promo before, which I highly suggest anyone go and seek out that promo, watch the promo, and then watch the match. Because his promo was like almost sociopathic. Like he had no emotions. And then when you watch the actual match, it played out like a scene from a horror movie. How it was basically he tortured John Cena. Yeah. Like there was that one point where he had him handcuffed over the post, and he's just beating the shit out of him with the cane. And John Cena does the whole pass out from the pain, and he's like, you don't get off that easy. Yeah. Woke him, threw water in the face to wake him up, just because he wanted him to feel everything he was doing. Yeah. How can he not be on this list?
Yeah, he's heel Randy Orton is definitely better than face Randy Orton. I would give you that. I'm definitely going with that. Now, my number 4, I had Minoru Suzuki. The guy's been doing it for a long time. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I've been watching Minoru Suzuki for 20 years because I haven't. But it's just everything about the guy. And the one thing that almost kept me from putting him on the list is that I've met him, and he was actually a very delightful guy. I mean, he didn't speak a lick of fucking English, so he didn't know what the fuck I was saying. But I went up to his booth at WrestleCon to see if I could get, a picture with the guy. And I was very intimidated by walking up to him because, let's face it, he's not the most approachable character in the world. But I walk up to him. He was that was when he was the IWGP Intercontinental Champ not too long ago. Just throws the belt right over my shoulder, throws his arm around me, takes a picture. Like, all right, we're fucking buddies here, man. Let's take this picture. Like, okay, that's cool. But in the ring,
like he's
so good.
Yeah,
he's just absolutely outstanding. So it was kind of a no-brainer for me. Minoru Suzuki's still great, 50 years old, still going strong. Kind of a theme in my list, guys that have been able to do this for a very long period of time. So Minoru Suzuki was my number 4. On to number 3 on our list. Silky has The Miz, and I had Chris Jericho as number 3 on my list. I want to talk about Jericho first because this recent heel turn of Jericho, and let's face it, he had a great heel run in WWE as well. He's one of those guys that could work great as a face. He can work great as a heel. Doesn't really matter which one you want to. I mean, he flourishes in either role. Doesn't really matter which role you put him in. He's going to do great. But what he did in New Japan, basically reinventing himself in a lot of ways this late in his career, going over there and doing what he did with Kenny Omega, and particularly what he did with Tetsuya Naito, not just winning the belt, because that shit's predetermined, and he knew that was going to happen one way or another. But he sold the shit out of that match. The way that he jumped Naito, the way that he, had the fucking mask on, he had the hood on, he pulls the hood off, he's got the fucking eyeliner going on under his eyes, like, or whatever. It was
Clockwork Orange.
Yeah, and then just backstage throwing shit around and acting like a maniac, driving off in a car. I mean, look, that's a guy that just gets it. He gets how to sell matches. He gets how to sell feuds. He gets how to make people interested in the match. And that's what a heel's supposed to do.
I mean, I get that. My only issue with it was I felt like it was you just redid the Kenny Omega beef with Tetsuya Naito. There was no, Kenny Omega he made the challenge and whatnot. Then he just shows up and attacks the shit out of him, beats the shit out of him, bloodies him up. And
to his credit, I think the build for him and Omega, the whole Alpha and Omega thing, I thought was great.
Marketing genius right there.
That was absolute marketing genius.
But with Naito, it was like he shows up the next day after losing to Omega, jumps him for no fucking reason, and then nothing happens because the match was supposed to happen. They had a big sellout, so they were like, well, let's save this for a bigger show.
Right.
And we finally got it at Dominion. So then he had to do the whole jump him again and bloody him. And it was not the same.
But that's out of his control. That's out of his control, though.
It didn't. To me, it didn't translate, and it felt like the same thing that happened with Omega, just with Naito. And the reason it didn't connect with me with Naito is because, Naito speaks Japanese, so he can't. I mean, reading subtitles of what he's saying can't really do it justice. You know what I mean?
And that's fine. And again, I'm looking at this solely from the perspective of what did Jericho do?
And I didn't like, we talked about that match. I felt like that match made Jericho look weak in a sense because of all these shit. You want to talk about all the stuff. Look at all the shit he did to Naito before the match officially even started.
No, it made Naito look weak is what it did. Or you're saying it made Jericho look weak because he hit him with everything and Naito kept kicking out.
Powerbomb or pile driver on the table, powerbomb through a table, just beat him slammed him into the post several times. Like,
but that's
at
old
least
school, man.
10 minutes of him beating his ass. When that match got in the ring and it rang, that match should have been over. Like, he should have hit him, code breaker, 1, 2, 3.
Thing of it is, and again, I'm preaching to the choir. I'm not. Don't mean to talk to you like you don't fucking know this because I know you do. But the heels are supposed to kick the ever living shit out of the baby faces, and get some fucking sympathy for the guys. Like, oh my god, the match hasn't even started yet, and he's killing this guy.
No, but
precisely what he's supposed to do,
No, and he did right, but I say it went too long. Like, there's a line for where you beat him up just enough to where he could still believably make that comeback to force a competitive match, and then once you cross the line, it's like, well, you did this, you beat him up for 10 minutes on the outside, hit him with chairs, put him through 2 tables, slammed him on guardrails, and it still took you like 20 minutes to beat him.
Right.
So obviously that stuff, it's like the Superman punch. It's like if you hit it 16 times in a match, obviously it's not that devastating.
No, and it's not a fucking finisher because defeats the whole purpose of finishers in the first place. Your number 3 pick was The Miz.
The Miz.
Let's talk about why you got The Miz at number 3.
His mic work is exceptional. Like, I think this Miz right now should be the WWE champion.
Not the one from a few years back.
Yeah, not the one. I think that was before he was. I don't think he was ready at that point to take on, what being the champion was.
I don't think he was either.
But I think that did help him cultivate how to be a champion. So when he became Intercontinental Champion, he carried that belt with a certain prestige. And, like I say, if you need to know anything, go watch that Talking Smack.
Where he went off on Daniel Bryan.
Yeah, when he went off. And
so good.
It was so good. And I watched it, and he was like, that's all came from his heart because he showed up. I watched it. It's a great show, actually, on the network, Photo Shoot, where they show him pictures. So they showed a picture of that, and he was like, that all happened because he showed up as the Intercontinental Champion, and they told him, we don't have nothing for you, like, at all. And he started mentioning some of the things they had going on the show that were less important than the Intercontinental Championship, and finally he was just like, can you put me on Talking Smack?
Yeah.
And he was like, when Daniel Bryan called him a coward, it just tripped something. And you could tell that was not, you could tell when someone's that into it, but it's still a work.
Yeah.
But they're just really good at it. You could tell 100% that he meant every word he was saying. That wasn't a shot at Daniel. That wasn't just a thing to sell the Daniel Bryan feud. He was legitimately pissed.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So
definitely. And I think Daniel Bryan was legitimately pissed.
And his work in the ring. I mean, let's not forget about that. Like the Fatal 4-Way match he had with like Cesaro, Owens, and Zayn. That was great. I mean, he has put up great match after great match. So, I mean,
he's been very good. And what he says about bringing all this prestige to the Intercontinental title and making that title relevant again is not really wrong.
No, he's not.
because the fucking
and that's why you hate him, because you know he's right about it.
Yeah, the Intercontinental title was on the fucking pre-show at WrestleMania a couple years ago. That's how far that belt had fallen.
Yes. And I mean, flash forward to the next WrestleMania, Miz is champ, and he's in a 4-way ladder match for the title.
Yeah, it's
and then taking it to Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, he was great. He is great. He does outstanding work, man.
Well, he didn't take it. Just don't kill me in the comments because I forgot Rollins had won it by then.
That's true.
Rollins won it at Mania. But still
great.
That doesn't take away from the fact that I'm right.
Okay. And Silky loves to be right. Let me tell you.
I really do.
Moving on to number 2 on our list. I actually had Miz one spot higher. I had him at number 2. You had Bully Ray at number 2. Just very quickly on the Miz, since you hit a lot of the same points that I did. The thing I appreciate about The Miz is the same thing I appreciate about Kevin Owens, and I think The Miz does a little bit better job of it, and maybe it's just because he's been in higher profile feuds and matches in the last year and a half that Kevin Owens has, is no matter what The Miz does to get himself over with the crowd, because there are certain things that he does to try to get the crowd going, and they're always chanting along with his lines and shit, during the Miz TV and all that kind of stuff. But he always brings it back to making them dislike him, making them hate him.
I mean, the whole baby, that was genius. I think if you look back, that was like planned from when he found out she was pregnant, and like the whole fatherhood thing right before WrestleMania, and you're like, this guy is getting soft. What's going on?
Yeah, and that's the one thing.
And I think honestly that was the payoff from that.
It probably
SmackDown
was
throwing a fucking baby, because how can you not hate someone who would make you think and willing to let you think they would throw their own baby at a guy just to sneak shot him?
Yeah, it's totally insane.
So, awesome work.
The one thing I say I would knock about The Miz, but the one thing I'm not a particularly big fan of is I don't want to see this fucking reality show. I hate that a guy who's portrayed on TV as a heel is on a fucking reality TV show where it's basically, supposed to be a comedy, and I'm supposed to laugh, and I'm supposed to, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of moments with him and his wife where we see what a good husband he is or what a good dad he is and all that kind of shit. I don't want to see that about fucking heels. Yeah. I don't want to see that.
And I get what you're saying, and it's really because...
And I'm not faulting the guy. I want to say that right now. I'm not faulting the guy for making that money.
Oh, make that money.
Absolutely make that money. But when we're talking about heels, and we're talking about guys that are...
That's why I think he stays on the list, because even though you see it like, my wife watches Total Divas and stuff, and I was always laughing because it's funny during that John Cena thing.
Yeah.
If you watch Total Divas or Bellas or whatever the fuck, John Cena looks like a heel. Like
he
classic
does.
heel. He looks like a dick. Like if you watch that show, you think genuinely he's not a great person. Yeah. But then you watch The Miz and like see the stuff he does on the show for his wife and stuff, and you're like, damn, that Miz is actually a pretty good person. So on the show, Miz is the face and Cena's the heel, and then 2 weeks later at WrestleMania, John Cena's the face and Miz is the heel. So.
Well, and it's so much different nowadays because, you've got to separate, or do you? I guess that's a question that we could ask. You've got to kind of separate the guy in the promotion and the guy in real life, or the guy on social media.
Like separate Mike Mizanin from The Miz.
That's exactly right. Exactly right.
And you've got to have that line of when to turn off character. I know several people who they have a tough time because they don't know when to cut off character. And it's a fine line you have to manage. But
well, I understand that.
I think that he does it really well because of the fact that, when he's on the show, he's show mode. He's The Miz.
Yeah. And one last thing on The Miz, and I want to give you some time on Bully Ray. If you go back and watch The Miz's first ever promo that he cut in WWE, there's a video of it out there on YouTube. It's a fucking train wreck. It is so incredibly bad. And to see how far that guy has come, and he really has, and he loves to talk about it because that's part of his persona.
Yeah.
He loves to talk about how far he's come and how hard he's worked and everything like that. But let's face it, that guy has busted his ass.
It's crazy to think that he is pretty much a first ballot Hall of Famer.
And he has made himself that way. He's not a guy who creative just tapped on the shoulder one day and said, "Hey, we're going to give you that push." At least I don't get that impression.
Only thing that being on that reality show got him was in the door. Everything else, he worked his ass off. Like, if you look,
he made himself too good to be ignored. Is
exactly
what it was. That's exactly what he did.
And that's what you have to do in this business. Like, you have to, and I've told several people that, like, when they would complain about, like, not being on a card or something like that, I would always tell them, you know what? When you do get put on a card, you do so well, you make it that if someone has to be cut from the card, that guy's going to be like,
can't be you.
Yeah, that's how I was working for the NWA, and they weren't really using me that much. And so every time I did get a match, I didn't complain. I still showed up. I still, did my dues, my setup and everything.
Right.
And anytime they gave me a match, that was my mindset, is that I'm going to go out here and do so well that next time they can't possibly take me off
this card. Yeah.
And it worked out. I became NWA Tag Team Champion.
There you go. Let's get to your number 2, Bully Ray.
Bully Ray. And I based this on basically, like, a lot of people forgot, because, Impact is fucking train wreck and nightmare.
Not anymore, Silky. You got to start coming around, brother.
One fucking show. Get
Silky,
the fuck out of here.
Silky here is very anti-Impact because it's been bad for a while. But they've turned it around.
They have not turned it around,
according to what everybody says.
Well, fuck what everybody says.
Did you watch Slammiversary?
One fucking show?
Did you watch Slammiversary?
No.
Of course not. So
you had Moose and fucking Austin Aries in the main event. Like, woo, the Impact's doing great.
Silky.
And that's not
I can read
any of their
the
talents.
Angry tweets right now coming from Impact fans who have been waiting so long for Impact to be irrelevant again.
And you're still waiting because they're not.
Oh, come on. You got to give Impact a little bit of credit. Come on.
If Impact was any kind of relevant or legitimate second option, their guys would be only their guys. Their guys are on Lucha Underground.
That's literally every promotion that's not WWE.
No.
New Japan's guys aren't New Japan guys.
New Japan's guys are New Japan guys.
Bullshit. They're in Ring of Honor.
They work a talent exchange with Ring of Honor. They're not on every Ring of Honor show, but you can go to MLW and see fucking Pentagon and Phoenix.
Hey, you can
go to Lucha Underground and see Pentagon and Phoenix.
Fucking Naito and those guys came over here and worked not a Ring of Honor show. They come over and work shows in the States. Everybody does that shit that's not in WWE.
But how many times? You don't see that. You know why?
Silky, how many times do the Impact guys not go to Impact?
All the fucking time is what I'm trying to say.
It's changing. The times are changing. You got to get with the times, man.
Fuck out of here. That is bad thinking. You're wrong, and I'm right on this.
Let's get to Bully Ray.
Back to, before we digress. Now, Bully Ray, that aces and eights, no matter what you feel on that cheap knockoff of NWO, whatever, but when they did that whole storyline culminating in the tag team or the cage match for the world title, and then it was revealed that Bully Ray was the actual leader of Aces and Eights and been behind it the whole time and just used it. The Hulk Hogan used it as a setup a platform to push him. That was amazing work as far as the story goes. That took him from being a tag team wrestler and made him a legitimate one. At the time, it was a legitimate world title, but made him a legitimate single star.
Now, now let's talk about today, because we're talking about the top 5 heels in wrestling today.
And he still has that quality. Like, you were there. He was one of the only few people that, like, there's an aura about him.
No,
did you walk
right.
up to fucking? Did you walk up to Bully Ray?
Fuck no, I didn't.
No, I said hi, and that was it. He said hi, I said hi. I kept it moving. I was not trying to engage in conversation,
and neither was he.
He had that aura about him. There's like the Young Bucks, Cody, that were at least approachable, where you felt Skrull, Paige, where you could say hi. And
you mean Emma?
Huh?
Emma. You said Paige.
No, Page as in Adam Page. Hangman Page.
Adam Page. I thought you were talking about Okay, yeah.
No. Anyway, so you could approach them and talk, like you can see, but like Bully Ray, we're fucking working a show and we're right at ringside. This motherfucker's taking pictures
This was during the show. It's not like I'm just fucking around before the show sticking a camera in his face.
No, this is during the show. He's walking out to the ring, and he gives Chris this look, and my first thought was, I think he's going to break Chris's camera. He's
going to break the fucking camera, yeah. Because he had that big-ass chain around him.
And he had
this look. And he gave me this look like, you motherfucker taking my picture.
Yeah, and I was like, if he breaks Chris's camera, that shit just happened. Yeah. I ain't going to do shit about it.
Nope, he was not. Silky had my way back on that one.
We can talk about what you did to make him break your camera so you don't do it again.
That's right.
But that's about it. But he has that aura about him. That's why I have him so high up, because just the aura Bully Ray has. It's like, he's not a bad guy, but you look at all his singles work, I mean, how can you not? Like, the stuff he did with Cheeseburger and Ring of Honor.
Yeah, he gets it.
Like, he gets
it. No question he gets it.
So that's why I have him as my number 2.
That's good enough for me. I'm totally with you there. He was a guy that I left off the list just because, again, I think there were other guys that were deserving. There's a lot of guys.
So many guys. I mean, we limited to 5, and that's right now the top heels as of this recording.
And we also tried to mix it up a little bit.
That shit could change. Next week, that shit could change.
Yeah, because we could have picked 5 WWE guys, to be honest with you. Neither one of us had Samoa Joe on our list, and he's fucking outstanding.
I mean, like I said on my personal Periscope, is that the reason I left him off was because he just came back from injury. They're just now doing more stuff with him.
Yeah.
So that's why he unfortunately just didn't make the cut this time. Now, after SummerSlam, yeah, he'll probably be number 1.
Yeah,
maybe number 2, because I don't see anyone taken away from the number 1 guy.
No, I don't either. And we both agreed on the number 1 guy. I don't think there's any question right now that Tommaso Ciampa or Ciampa. Yeah, Ciampa. We got to get a ruling on that.
Yeah, we should.
But look, I don't think there's any question that right now he's the number 1 guy in wrestling in terms of heels. And look,
and I'm gonna say
how many times
we don't even really have to expound on this. You know why he's number 1? He fucking spoiled the ending to Infinity Wars on social media.
Yeah, that's a total dick move.
This is a mic drop.
Yeah,
bam.
That's a total dick move.
All you have to say. Who would think to do something like that?
I'll say this, and again, he's just, every step of this heel turn of his seems to have been just absolutely perfect. From the, and this is accidental, but the fact that he was injured and he had to go away.
Yeah.
So he was gone for a while. So people were left to stew on everything. That just worked out brilliantly in his favor. It really did,
because right at the time, you're like getting into Gargano, because we're like, Ciampa's gone. We're not going to see this. We're getting into that Gargano story. You're forgetting about Ciampa, and then at the...
But he's lurking.
Bah!
Yeah.
When he comes back, it's
and it
just
was huge.
Amazing.
So that and his coming out and not cutting a promo because people kept interrupting him and he was pissed off about that, to the fucking wave that he does, that little slow wave, and no fucking entrance music.
No, I
mean he just gets it, man.
It's just ridiculous the amount of heat he has.
And it's ridiculous how few stories like that are being told in wrestling nowadays. Yeah. When you look at that story, and it's so well done, and it's so great, and Gargano looks so fantastic as a face, and Ciampa looks so fantastic as a heel, and the feud, people cannot get enough of it, and it's the simplest shit
hands down
ever.
It's probably going to win feud of the year.
Yeah, I mean, how can it not?
Yeah.
How can it not? Welcome to those of you, We Want Wrestling. Good to have you with us here on the Periscopes. Thanks for chiming in. And that's what's so obnoxious about some of the shit that we see in wrestling nowadays, where we try to reinvent the fucking wheel.
That's what it is. I mean,
we're trying to make things so much more complicated
to do something
and
different, just to be, surprising. Like, maybe doing the story like where Gargano was the heel and Ciampa was the face. It's like, you look at those two. Who do you think's going to be heel?
Oh yeah, absolutely. There's no question about it.
There's reasons.
There's no question about it. And the other thing is, when we probably could have done this earlier on, but one of the things that I looked at when I was picking my list was, one of the jobs of the heel is to get the fucking babyface over.
Yes.
I mean, Iron Sheik said it forever. Besides, I break your fucking back, jabroni, and all that kind of stuff. Fuck the Mondays and all the stuff that he says on Twitter. But he's always said, without Iron Sheik, there is no Hulkamania. And he's absolutely right. He's absolutely right. Now, he might be taking a little more credit for it than he deserves. But hey, let's face it. Hulk Hogan needed an Iron Sheik. Johnny Gargano, I'm going to tell you right now, and I don't care who disagrees with me because I am absolutely 100% convinced of this. There is no fucking way Johnny Gargano enjoys the success that he has right now today without Tommaso Ciampa. No fucking way. There's no way.
I mean, I reluctantly agree with you. I think he eventually would have got to this point, but
I think he would have been good, but the meteoric rise that both of those guys have had,
yeah, they need each other. I mean,
is one of those lightning in a bottle things that you don't catch in wrestling very often.
It's one of the things of everything has balance. For every good guy, you need a good bad guy. You know, Johnny Gargano's that perfect face to Tommaso Ciampa's perfect heel. You put them together, you get perfect matches and a perfect story. I mean, you can't have one without the other.
Yep, I totally agree. I totally agree.
I mean, and another reason why, and a lot of these guys have this quality is like, Ciampa, you put anyone in the ring with Ciampa, and they are the most loved person in NXT.
Absolutely.
I guarantee you that.
Because you don't have to pay, and that's the other thing that people don't get. Man, when you and I were coming up, and I remember this as a kid, it didn't matter if somebody who was just a fucking hated heel, like I'm going to take Kamala, for instance.
I wrestled him.
I know you did. Kamala, as a little kid, I fucking hated Kamala. And you know why? Because he threw a fucking fireball in Hacksaw Jim Duggan's face one day, and I thought he was this crazy Ugandan maniac. And so I would tune in just to see Kamala lose. And as I got older, the same shit happened with Ric Flair. Every fucking guy that I liked, fucking Ric Flair beat him. Yeah. And I was like, fuck Ric Flair, man. I would tune in just to see Ric Flair lose. I watched all the fucking Von Erichs lose to Ric Flair. And so when Kerry Von Erich finally fucking beat him, I went absolutely apeshit. And it wasn't so much because I was a Kerry Von Erich fan. It was because I fucking hated Ric Flair. Yes. And that's the thing that people don't get. You can sell as a heel. You can sell tickets just for making people want to pay money to watch you lose.
Exactly.
And that's what Ciampa has right now. You put Ciampa on any card right now. I don't give a shit who you put him up against. He's going to sell tickets because people are going to want to come see if he fucking loses.
Yeah, they're going to want to see him. And even if he doesn't lose, they want to take satisfaction to see him get his ass whooped.
That's right. So, absolutely right.
I mean, that's why he's number one. I mean, honestly, I'd say you could put him in there with Almas. Or you could put him in there with Joe even.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
And Joe would be the most loved person because they hate Ciampa that much.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where you look at it and you go, shit, why is this so hard? Why is it so hard to get more of this in wrestling? Because, man, those two guys, to their credit, man, they have just done such a fantastic job with it. It's been pretty amazing to watch. So let's recap our top 5 here. Silky and I talking about the top 5 heels in wrestling today. For me, I had Sami Callihan, number 5, coming off of his baseball bat incident. But, you know, I thought he did a good job with that. Minoru Suzuki at number 4. Chris Jericho at number 3. I had The Miz at number 2. And Tommaso Ciampa, number 1. Silky, your top 5?
My top 5 was Switchblade Jay White at number 5. Randy Orton at number 4. The Miz at number 3. Bully Ray at number 2, and Tommaso Ciampa at number 1.
Pretty much no question that Ciampa belongs
number 1.
In the number 1 spot. So, if you disagree with us, if you agree with us, whatever the case may be.
Except for on the Ciampa thing, because we're right, you're wrong, and that's all the argument we need.
Yeah, it's probably not going to, you know, we'll listen to you, but we'll probably end up telling you you're full of shit if you disagree with us on that one. But as far as 2 through 5 go, hit us up with a comment on the YouTube channel, not tinyurl.com/Speez Benchmark. Or you can hit us up on Twitter at Speez Benchmark and let us know what you think.
Or you can look for us individually at Benchmark Silky and at Chris Spezak.
And I don't recall, because of all the shenanigans that we had going earlier on. And guys, I cannot apologize enough for the silliness earlier. This is totally on me. I take that entirely on my shoulders. Silky, I apologize for you having to sit around here so much longer while I get this shit together, because, God, that was obnoxious. But
yeah,
hopefully
you broke it.
It's a one-time thing, and we get that done. So I don't recall if we mentioned this on the most recent the most recent version of tonight's show that we put out there, but we do have a free giveaway going on. 2 8x10s autographed by 2 of the best heels in the business right now. Minoru Suzuki, and Sami Callihan. All you got to do is head over to Twitter at Speez Benchmark, and you will see a pinned tweet that says retweet and follow Speez Benchmark for the chance to win. So retweet that and make sure you're following us on Twitter, and you will get a chance to win those two 8x10s. And you can get an additional entry.
If you go to tinyurl.com/SpeezBenchmark, click that subscribe button, go ahead and get notified, and that'll get you a second entry.
So you can have 2 entries in the drawing to win an autographed 8x10 from Sami Callihan and another one from Minoru Suzuki. Now, we will announce the winner on our show here on Monday. That comes on at 10:05-ish after Monday Night Raw. So be sure to join us here, whether you're on Periscope, whether you're on YouTube, whatever the case may be. We will not be experiencing the technical difficulties that we did today. And to those of you listening to us on Twitter or SoundCloud, Google Play, Stitcher, wherever it happens to be, we hope you enjoy the show. We hope you will hit us up on Twitter and get yourself a chance to win those autographed photos as well. So, Silky, before we get out of here today, anything else for the people that they need to know about before we get out?
If you're in the Katy area, August 25th, DZW at the Katy Elks Lodge. Come see me punch someone several times around the facial region. Come see him referee. I'm putting him on the spot and telling him that he's going to do that. And that's about it.
All right, then.
Like and subscribe. These bills need to get paid.
Yes, we would very much appreciate your comments, your subscriptions, everything and anything that you want to do to help get the word out about the program. We would greatly appreciate it. Thank you, folks, for being with us here tonight. We look forward to seeing you on Monday. Speez on the Benchmark Show. Have a good one, everybody.